welcome to the One Handy Kitchen. Today we're going to be making raviolis and then a mushroom and cream cheese sauce to go with it. So without further ado, let's get started. For the pasta, I'm going to be using my food processor. You can do this by hand, but it's a lot better to do it in here. So in this bowl I have flour. To that I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. I'll put the weights and measures for this at the end of the video. Using my palette knife, I'm just going to mix that round a tad and make sure the flour's coming down to the bottom. Okay, so into that I have here 3 eggs. And then finally I have just a teaspoon of oil. It's better if you can use olive oil for this. Okay, I'm going to pop my lid on and I'm going to blitz this. I'm then going to process this so that it all comes together and forms a ball. And there we are. Okay, so once this starts coming together, as you can see, we're going to tip that into a bowl. I'm going to very carefully take the blade out. I don't want to be cutting my fingers with that. I'm going to just bring this together in the bowl so we have a nice ball. Now you need to keep your hands firm for this for a little while. I'm going to transfer this now onto my board and get rid of my bowl. Flour my mat. And then we're going to start kneading this. Now, I could have carried on in my food processor, but the best pasta is done by feel rather than anything else. You don't want too much flour for this, and you're literally going to push it, work this pasta until it starts going nice and smooth and elastic. Okay, so you can see this has started to get really elastic. When you get to this stage and you're happy that it feels quite pliable, what we're going to do is wrap this in some foil and we're going to let this rest now at room temperature for 1 hour. Nothing further to be done. Normally you would put this in cling film. I don't manage cling film very well, but foil works just as well. While our dough is resting for our raviolis, I'm going to be making a filling for these. In this bowl I've got 150 grams of low-fat cream cheese. I have here some spinach that's been wilted, and I've really tried to squeeze as much water out of that as I can. In this bowl I have lemon juice, and that is all we're going to put in here. So in goes the spinach, in goes our lemon. The lemon will give this a really nice bite, and then all we've got to do is mix this together. Easy. Use your body to try and mix this all together as best you can. And that's it. That's all we're doing for the filling. And it is very, very nice, very tasty. Right, once you're happy that you've got that all mixed together, I'm going to pop it in the fridge while I start rolling my pasta dough. Okay, my pasta is fully rested now. It's been resting for an hour. So I'm just going to put a light dusting of flour onto my board, or worktop, work surface, whatever you're working on. And I'm going to unwrap this. Now that's looking good. Very pleased with that. Now I don't want to work with a great big lump of pasta. So look, you can see how elastic that's gone, because it's quite difficult to cut like that now. So I'm going to put this one to one side, and I'm just going to work on this piece here. So this is really nice and elasticy. That gluten has really got to work there. So here we go. I've got a thinner rolling pin. Actually, I didn't buy this at all. My husband cut the piece of window pole off for me. It's really hard to try and do roll pasta with your regular, really thick rolling pin. It's much easier to do it with one of these. Now you can buy these online, obviously. You can buy anything online. So what we need to do is roll this till it's really nice and thin. Just keep going. It will stretch. It's really pliable. It's really nice and dry. I don't even need to flour my pin, or my modified pin. I don't like spending loads of money on things. It's not an endless budget, especially when you're not working anymore. I'm on just a pension now, so I try and save money where I can. Now, fresh raviolis are really expensive. Now, if you think about it, all we've used so far is a little bit of flour, a teaspoon of oil, a bit of salt, and a couple of eggs. And this will make enough ravioli for at least 4 people for a main. If you're going to do them for starters, obviously a lot more. The good thing about this is you can freeze it. It freezes really well. It doesn't keep in the fridge very well at all. So my advice is, once you've made these, if you've got far too many, freeze them. Don't try and save them in the fridge. We're nearly there with this. Little slip there. Okay, now that feels good to me. Feel it. You can feel whether that's level or not. It's not hard to do. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways of making the actual ravioli itself. My favoured way of doing it is to use a very small pastry cutter and then cut out pasta. There we go. Just do some even ones there. We do a couple of round ones, and then I'll show you the other way to do it. Okay, so I've cut 4 out there. This is just for demonstration purposes. Then, and I'm very lucky here because I've got my measure. Okay, so 4 cut out with my pastry cutter. I'm just going to show you how I do these, and then I'll crack on and get them all done. You don't need to watch everything here. Right, I'm very lucky because I've got a measure here, and I'm going to make sure that I cut 2 strips around the same. So I'm going 11. Could have done with a sharper knife. Oh, I have my pastry cutter. What a good idea. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3 inches. 1, 2, 3 inches. Doesn't matter if it's not entirely accurate. These bits you can reuse. this isn't a problem at all. So I'll put them to one side and I'll be re-rolling those. Okay, so I've got 2 strips of pasta. Here. And as you can see, you can move it quite easily. I'm now going to get my filling out of the fridge and I'm going to place it into a plastic bag. If you have a piping bag, that's great. Try and put it in your piping bag. Now what I tend to do is put my bag into a receptacle. You've all seen these before probably. These are my set of ice cream scoops. I'm going to be using the smaller of these, and what I'm going to do is just pick some of this up and pop it in to my bag, or if you have one, into a piping bag. I'm going to pull this out of my receptacle and sort of tip it to one side and lock that down. Right, there we go. I need my pastry brush. I'm not sure I need my flour anymore, but we'll put it there anyway. So, what I'm going to be doing is snipping, as you probably guessed, the end off of this bag. Now this should be hilarious. Let's see how that goes. I'm only snipping the tiniest bit of that. It's a bit of a waste of a Ziploc bag in a sense, but in another way it isn't. Here we go. I'm going to use this to place some filling, into my raviolis. Now you don't need a lot in these little ones, that's plenty. Then on here I'm going to be putting some at intervals, because these are going to be square. Oh, there you go. Right, make sure you do leave gaps in between, because what's going to happen here is we're going to wet in between these. I haven't done that one very well, have I? We'll try again later for that. Okay, using your brush, just damp here. Make sure you've gone round all of these, because you want them to seal. If they don't seal, they'll pop open when we cook them. So I can even move that a tad with my pastry brush if I want to. Okay, then what we're going to do is place this on top. Right, you can see the bumps there. So I'm going to push all the way around those, making little individual pockets of pasta. Using my pastry cutter, chop off the end. There we go. Chop off the other end. And then, this is where I should have lined them up a bit better. We're going to cut out those individual raviolis. Make sure I've pushed that down. There we go. This one. Oops. You can see the general idea. There we go. Now this one's not got a lot in it, so I'm going to trim this so it looks a bit better. Be nice. There we go. Let's take that away. And we have our ravioli. Now all you need to do is just make sure that that is totally sealed, because otherwise what's going to happen is when you come to boil these later, it'll all pop open and that's not so good. There we go, here's another one. You can get stamps to do this, which probably will be a lot easier. So, exactly the same thing, except it's a lot easier to damp that part, the lid. So you're going to literally put it on, push. We're not finished with it, but pop it over the top and push around like this. Now I'm going to need to flour that a bit because it's very sticky. Right, we're literally going to go around the edges. And I'm using the flat of my fingernail to push them down. Now I quite like these ones, I think they're really pretty. I think they look lovely. I've got my palette knife so I don't just mess it all up. And then I'm putting these on a rack. Again, this needs some flour because I've put lots of water on this one. So, fingernail around the edge, gives it just the flat of your nail, not your actual fingernail. We don't want to be cutting through it. Can you see this? Just go round and round and round. There we go. I'm just going to re-roll my dough until I've run out. This piece I'm going to put in a bag, freezer bag, and I'm going to freeze that straight away so that I can use that at some other point. I've finished making my raviolis and I've selected the ones I want to cook now because it's only for myself and my husband for lunch. The rest I've got flat freezing at the moment, and then I'll put those into portion size bags. I've got my water really boiling hard, as you can see here. Now, I did hear that you salt your water so it's as salty as the Mediterranean. So here we go. I don't know how salty the Mediterranean is, but I'm guessing from that it's pretty salty. I'm now going to pop my raviolis into the water, just one at a time, and I'm going to bring those back to the boil. There's all my glasses steaming up here, and I'm going to cook those until they float, and then I'm going to take them out, which should be 4 or 5 minutes maximum. While they're cooking, I'm going to make the sauce. Okay, so I'm using here a frying pan. Usually I'd use my wok because I'm a bit messy, but so that you can see what I'm doing here, I'm going to use this. So I'm going to spritz my pan with oil. Now I've got the temperature on high at the moment. Okay, so a good spritz of oil. I don't want to be using too much. You could use olive oil for this. It would work really well. Into that, I've already chopped some onion. I've shown you on a video how I chop my onion using my special board. So you can watch that if you would like. I'm also going to add some chopped mushroom into this. I'm just going to soften this down a tad. Oh, it's smelling gorgeous already. Once this has softened a little bit, I'll start adding my fluids. In this bowl I have a good teaspoon of salt and a goodly lot of pepper. I also have some eshallot and, oh no, not put the garlic in yet. So I'm going to sprinkle this over the top of there. Into that I'm going to add some garlic, and then we're going to stir that all in together. And you can see that's reducing down nicely there. That will cook off all the spices, and it will be really tasty. Now, this is completely optional, but I do like my chili. Oh, there went the lid. I do like a little chili, so I sprinkled just a little chili powder. Okay, we're almost done. This does not take long to do. Okay, I'm now going to add, because it's softened down, some milk. Now you can use soy milk. I'm using skimmed milk here, but that's all you need. Now what this will do is make a base sauce for our lovely raviolis. I'm going to let that just cook and reduce down for a little while, and I'm going to turn the heat to a medium. And there we go. Can you see the mushrooms and onions are making a beautiful sauce there? Okay, into that now I'm going to put my cream cheese, and it's about half a pack. What I'm going to do is stir this in. Get it all nicely together. Once you have your cream cheese incorporated, bring this up to a slightly bigger boil. Into that I'm going to pour a little cream. Pop that all in, and that is look at that sauce, it's absolutely beautiful. My raviolis are basically cooked, they floated to the top. What I'm going to do is pop these now into my sauce. Just let them get nicely coated with your sauce, and then you'll be ready to dish. Doesn't that just look delicious? Well, doesn't that look beautiful? All I'm going to do now is pop a little bit of cheese over the top. Oh, this is going to be divine. I love this. I love fresh ravioli. I really do. I've got my special fork here because regular forks are not good for me. Here goes. Oh, look at it. It's very hot. Oh my God. That is good. Look at this. Gorgeous, gorgeous filling. This is absolutely lovely. That cream cheese, the mushroom sauce. That is one to try. Now I cooked my pasta for 4 minutes. It's al dente, which is the way I like it. If you like your pasta cooked more, just cook it for longer. It's not an issue. This is a personal preference, whether it's al dente or whether you have it a bit more soft. Now this recipe is absolutely delicious. You don't miss meat in this at all, because you've got those beautiful mushrooms, the cream, the spinach. It really is very, very good. I encourage you to try this. It is beautiful. Well, if you liked what you saw today, please hit the bell, save, subscribe, like, to see me making more cost-effective, wonderful, one-handed food. Thank you for watching.